Today I want to highlight one of my favorite things in our nature station, which is this old Royal typewriter, which I believe is from 1936. And how I figured that out is there's a serial number in the back. And if you Google the serial number of the typewriter that you have, there's a website that will actually tell you the model and the date and some info on the typewriter. So it's a really useful website. And the reason why we have this typewriter on display is because when I was a kid, I went to a museum, and this museum had this really neat archaeological display. There was a guy who had like a pickaxe and knapsacks and shovels and books and all this stuff that I wanted to play with, but it was behind a glass case, so I couldn't play with it. So apparently I've been holding on to this slight that I had, this grudge that I couldn't play with these cool toys for over 20 years, because when I finally had a chance to add things to a nature center that I work at, I came up with the idea of a old-fashioned naturalist desk, from the 19th century, so the 1800s, the age of exploration. And this naturalist desk isn't behind a glass case, so kids can come up to it and open up the drawers and discover what's inside. For example, we have a turtle shell hiding in one of the drawers, and each of our little drawers here has information on animals named after Alexander von Humboldt, and a little blurb about him, and info on Theodore Roosevelt, and this really cool way of writing your thoughts to the naturalist. Originally, I kind of thought of just having a pen and paper, but it's really easy to lose a pen, and I wanted it to be easy to give me a message. So then I thought of maybe a tablet that I could, they could send an email to me, but that kind of ruins the aesthetic a little bit. So then I eventually came across the idea of an old typewriter, and I actually found this typewriter in Hamilton for about $10. So, this almost 100-year-old typewriter. It was super cheap, and part of the reason why was because it was completely seized up. The letters wouldn't work. It was just an absolute disaster. But with a little bit of oil, some fishing twine of all things, and a wire brush, it's pretty much good as new, and it's really fun to use. I mean, when you type on it, yeah, it has this really, really satisfying clickety, clackety kind of sound to it. And when you're done typing, when you've reached a line, eventually it will make the dinging noise. The dinging noise is pretty fun. You get to pull the lever. It's just a very interactive way of writing. There's all these settings that you can change. You can change how deep the sentences, the gaps between the sentences are. You can change the color of the ribbon. Well, in theory anyway, if you have a multicolored ribbon. I've only got one colored ribbon, so it has to stay on black, which, funnily enough, is actually the thing that gets changed the most when I come in here. When I come into our nature station, there is usually something wrong with our Royal typewriter. I mean, it's actually managed to survive in here for probably about 3 or 4 years now, and we've used it for letters to Santa, we've used it for scary stories, we've used it for all different kinds of things, and it's just out in the open for guests to experiment with and use, which, as I said, means that when I come here, there's probably something wrong with it. I said this is the most common change, and what happens is when you use the red, the letters just don't look quite as nice. It's just a little off, because the machine kind of moves the lettering a little bit. So I usually have to change it to black. One of the other most common problems is when you type on this thing, you have to do one letter at a time. It's not like a typewriter. It's not like a computer where you can just kind of mush all the letters really quickly. If you do that, then it's really easy for the bars to get jammed. So when I come in here, this thing is usually messed up, and this is usually jammed, and then every now and again our ribbon is just completely pulled apart. But it's pretty easy to replace the ribbon and fix the ribbon. You just lift this thing up, and then you can fix the ribbon inside. So what's amazing about this machine is it's really delicate. There's hundreds of little springs and wires and levers that you would think would be very touchy and very delicate, which it is delicate, but it's also built like a tank. As I said, this thing gets, used constantly, and it's survived. I just think that is really impressive that there's a machine that is really delicate but also really tough. That they, by the 1930s and 1940s, they really had, you know, good solid typewriters, the technology behind them down. I mean, it just works. It's just so cool. The shift button is really clunky. It makes that really good clunky noise when you want to shift, and it's just really fun. So most of the time there's an easy fix when I come in here. However, a few days ago I came in here and I noticed there was a bit more than an easy fix. One of these letters, letter A, actually wasn't working. And if you've ever looked behind a typewriter at how the letters connect to the metal bars that whack the paper, there's just multiple connections. And thankfully I found the piece that had broken off, and I attempted to put it back on again. And I thought maybe it would be a little bit difficult. It ended up being pretty difficult. So that's what this second part of the video is going to be, is my attempts at fixing the letter A on Mr. Royal Typewriter here. And you'll get to see the challenges that I faced. And if you have an issue with your typewriter, with one of the letters not working, maybe this next section will help you too, because it was definitely a fun little experience trying to fix this guy. But, you know, as I said, if you come over to Sharon Woods, this should be up and running pretty well. If there is issues, then ask for Tom the Naturalist or one of the other nature interpreters, and maybe we'll be able to help you out, because it is definitely a very fun machine to use. And yeah, so have fun checking out my strife and tribulations of fixing the typewriter. All right, everybody, have fun. All right, so you can see that little piece right there needs to be latched on. So we'll move this. Oh, A needs to be pressed down as well. How are we gonna fix that? Okay. So I'll try it with this pair of pliers. This is going to be really hard with this camera in the way. It's hard enough even without the camera. Let's see, I wonder if I flip the camera around. It actually looks really, really nice in the camera. That's kind of funny. Looks really cool in the camera, but I don't think I'll be able to actually fix it. Man, if it wasn't so high up. Man, this is gonna be really tough, because yeah, not only do you have to get one piece connected, but the other piece too. And it actually goes in this way. I was gonna try and attach it wrong way anyway. Ah! No! I can't see what on earth I'm doing. And then it just comes off. Okay. No.
Oh, well, that makes things much easier. I was trying to, like, finagle with these massive pliers. If I would have just opened up this thing, then that would have made it way easier. Now I just have to find the piece that I lost. That's funny.
Let's see, where is it? My previous ways of unlodging the piece has been to whack it, but you know what? I just found it at the very bottom. If only these were magnetized. I need magnetized pliers. Hopefully I'm not destroying it in the process of trying to fix it. Maybe if I just do this. I'll get it out. It's lodged in the... Where did you go, little piece? So typewriters are really cool. And as I said, this thing's built like a tank. Oh, there we go. But when things do go wrong, it does require a little bit of delicacy. Alright, I'm not even sure if I'll need pliers now. Let's see, so it goes on like that. Ah! Man, I am not good with pliers. See, is that the issue? No, it needs to be like... Jeez Louise, let's see. Why won't you go in that little hole? Okay, there's one. Okay. No! No! Oh my goodness. I thought this was going to be relatively easy. I bet if these were magnetized, I bet it would definitely help. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe I'll try this side first. Oh, my back's hurting now. I'm gonna have to sit down. Ah! Trying to figure out which pliers to use. No! Man, I guess it's really hard to get these things off. I don't know how this got off because it's very difficult to put on. Where did it go now? Forever. Way! Whew! Alright. Let's see if the A works now. Alright. I mean, there's no, but that works. So now we'll put the pieces back on again. There we go. At least it works this way. Okay, ink's a little off, but that's okay.